Everyone laughed when the Chinese billionaire mocked the black waiter until he or her responded in Chinese. "Look at that monkey serving our table," said Li Wei in Mandarin, pointing at the waiter as if he were a decorative object. "I bet he does not even know how to hold chopsticks properly. People like him should be cleaning toilets, not serving civilized people like us." The laughter from the table echoed through the Jade Palace, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant. The 5 American businessmen chuckled nervously, clueless about what was said, but eager to impress the woman who controlled a $60 billion empire. David Thompson continued pouring wine, his expression calm, almost detached. At 32, he had learned to swallow humiliations like this every day for the past 8 months. But tonight, there was something different in his eyes, a dangerous calm that only lives in those who have survived worse storms. Liwi Aries, heiress to Wei Industries and one of Asia's richest women, had arrived in New York to close technology deals. Her arrogance was legendary, even among billionaires. She treated Americans as if they were children and black people as if they were less than human. That one probably did not even finish high school. She continued in Mandarin, savoring every cruel word. In the United States, they think giving jobs to people like that is progress. What a joke. David understood every word, every racial slur, every venomous comment, every arrogant assumption. But Liwi did not know the truth. This so-called monkey spoke flawless Mandarin, held a PhD in Asian studies from Harvard, and had spent 5 years as a cultural attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Beijing. 8 months ago, David was Dr. David Thompson, one of America's leading experts on Sino-U.S. relations. That was before his life shattered when a jealous colleague framed him for espionage. Though he was eventually cleared, the damage was done. No one wanted to hire a man who had been investigated by the FBI. Desperate, David took the only job he could find, waiting tables at Jade Palace. More wine, Liwi ordered in broken English, deliberately mispronouncing words like a queen mocking peasants. David obeyed silently, hiding the storm inside him. What she could not see was that every insult was fueling a fire that would burn her empire to ashes. For the next hour, she turned dinner into a circus of humiliation. Switching between Mandarin and English, she delivered lecture after lecture on racial hierarchy. The Americans laughed nervously, sensing the cruelty but too spineless to challenge a woman who controlled billion-dollar contracts. David endured it all. He did not flinch, did not speak, just listened, and recorded every single word. Because tonight was not about revenge. It was about justice. When Liwi finally demanded his name, David answered calmly, "David, ma'am." She laughed. "How cute. He knows where China is." She sneered after asking if he could find her country on a map. That was the final spark. David straightened his back, looked her dead in the eye, and spoke in perfect Mandarin. "Ms. Liwi, I believe you are confusing this restaurant with a zoo." The silence was explosive. Chopsticks froze midair. Glasses trembled in nervous hands. Liwi's face drained of color. "What did you say?" she stammered. David stepped closer, voice calm, deadly clear. "I said, it is interesting how some people confuse money with education, birth with character, and status with human worth." The businessman's jaws dropped. Robert Hayes, the CEO sitting across from her, finally realized who he was looking at. "Oh my God, you are David Thompson. I have read your work on Sino-American trade." Liwi's knees buckled. David continued, his voice cold steel. "Yes, I am Dr. David Thompson, Harvard PhD, former U.S. Embassy attaché in Beijing, fluent in Mandarin, Cantonese, and 3 dialects. I have negotiated trade deals worth billions, including some that made your company richer." Her breath caught. "But why are you?" "Because life has a way of humbling us," David said, pulling out his phone. "And while I was clearing your table, I was also recording your every word, every racist comment, every theory about superior races, including the video you made mocking me." Panic twisted her face. "You cannot." "I already did," David said, showing her the screen. A message from Dr. James Chun, director of Columbia's Center for Asian Studies, glowed brightly. "David, this is explosive. The Chinese consulate must see this immediately." Robert Hayes muttered, "Liwi, you just destroyed yourself." David leaned in, voice low but lethal. "Do you know what the Chinese government does to citizens who embarrass them overseas? They do not tolerate arrogance. They do not forgive scandals. And neither do the companies who just watched their billion-dollar deals go up in flames." Liwi's world collapsed in that moment. Her power, her pride, her empire, gone. David did not raise his voice, did not gloat. He just delivered the final blow with chilling grace. "Dignity is not a privilege, Ms. Liwi. It is a basic human right, one you never understood, until tonight." 3 months later, both their lives had changed completely, but in opposite ways. Liwi woke up to devastating headlines. Billionaire Aries loses $800 million in contracts after racist videos. The Chinese consulate issued an official statement distancing itself from her remarks, and Wei Industries lost 70% of its U.S. contracts in just 2 weeks. Her family stripped her of executive powers. Meanwhile, David Thompson had become a global symbol of dignity in the face of prejudice. The video of the confrontation went viral with 50 million views. Universities in 3 countries invited him to speak, and the State Department offered him his old position back with a promotion. It was never about revenge, David said in an interview. It was about proving that respect is not a privilege. It is a basic human right. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and share this message. Because arrogance always comes at a price, and dignity, no matter how deep you try to bury it, will always rise to the surface.